Imagine a king who, despite a devastating disease, led his army against a much more powerful enemy and emerged victorious. This is the story of Baldwin IV, the leper king of Jerusalem, and his greatest battle, the clash at Montgisard. Amid a critical moment for the kingdom of Jerusalem, he gathered his few troops to face Saladin, the greatest Muslim commander of his time. In this video, we will explore the events that led to this astonishing battle, understand the political and military context, and relive every moment of this epic confrontation. How did Baldwin manage to turn an almost certain defeat into a legendary victory? What made Saladin underestimate his opponent? And how did this battle change the course of the Crusades? Stay until the end to discover how a physically weakened king became one of the greatest strategists of his era. Prepare yourself for a journey of bravery, faith, and resilience. In the 7th century, the Kingdom of Jerusalem was in a constant state of war against the Muslim armies led by Saladin, Sultan of Egypt and Syria. After the First Crusade, the Christians established several kingdoms in the Middle East, but Muslim resistance grew with each passing year. Saladin, determined to unify the Islamic territories and reclaim Jerusalem, carried out frequent incursions against Christian forces, weakening their defenses and wearing down their troops. Baldwin ascended to the throne during a period of extreme instability. In addition to constant external threats, the kingdom faced internal conflicts among nobles vying for power. The young king was diagnosed with leprosy in childhood, raising doubts about his ability to rule and lead armies. Despite the disease, Baldwin displayed a combative spirit and strategic intelligence, qualities that would be crucial in the fight against Saladin. In 1177, the Muslims saw an opportunity to put an end to the Christian presence in the region once and for all. With a large army, he marched toward Jerusalem, confident that the Christian forces would have no means to resist. However, Baldwin, though weakened, quickly gathered his troops and made the risky decision to intercept the enemy before they reached the Holy City. This was the prelude to the Battle of Montgisard, a confrontation that would be etched in the history of the Crusades. On the 25th of November, Baldwin and his small army positioned themselves to face the vastly superior Muslim forces. The battle took place near Montgisard, a strategic location where the Christians hoped to halt the Muslim advance before Jerusalem was threatened. Saladin's army was imposing, with approximately 26,000 men. In contrast, Baldwin managed to gather only about 4,000 soldiers, including Templar Knights, Turcopoles, and local infantry. Despite the numerical disadvantage, the Christian king had a trump card, the element of surprise and the intense motivation of his warriors. The young king, despite being weakened by leprosy, mounted his horse and marched at the head of his men, accompanied by the True Cross, one of the most sacred relics of Christendom, believed to be the cross on which Christ was crucified. This gesture ignited the spirits of the Christian army, which attacked with unexpected fury. The heavy Christian cavalry charged into the center of the Muslim army, breaking their ranks and sowing chaos among the enemy troops. Saladin, caught off guard by the ferocity of the Christian assault, tried to reorganize his forces. But the marshy terrain and the speed of the Christian charge prevented his archers and cavalry from performing their roles effectively. The Muslim forces began to retreat, and disorder spread among their soldiers. Baldwin and his knights continued the relentless pursuit, forcing Saladin to flee with what remained of his army. By the end of the battle, thousands of Muslim soldiers lay on the battlefield, while Saladin barely escaped, humiliated and weakened. The Christian victory at Montgisard was an extraordinary feat, proving that even with limited resources and a sick king, the Kingdom of Jerusalem remained a formidable force. Baldwin IV's reputation grew immensely, establishing him as one of the great leaders of the Crusades. But the war was far from over. Saladin would learn from his defeat and return stronger in the years to come. the fate of the Kingdom of Jerusalem was still far from decided. The Christian victory at Montgisard had a profound impact on the balance of power in the Middle East. Saladin's humiliation, as a leader previously considered unbeatable, boosted the morale of the Crusaders and gave the Kingdom of Jerusalem a temporary respite from the growing Muslim threat. In the following years, Baldwin took advantage of this victory to strengthen the kingdom's defenses and consolidate internal and external alliances. However, the king's health problems continued to worsen. Leprosy advanced rapidly, limiting his ability to lead armies in the field with the same energy as before. This led to internal disputes among the kingdom's nobles, who began to split into different factions, each with its own political ambitions. Saladin, on the other hand, did not remain defeated for long. He reorganized his forces, reinforced his alliances, and in the following years launched new campaigns against the Crusader states. He learned from his mistakes at Montgisard and began employing more strategic tactics to weaken the Christians. In just 1 decade after Montgisard, Saladin would achieve his greatest victory at the Battle of Hattin, which would mark the beginning of Jerusalem's fall to the Muslims. The Battle of Montgisard was one of the most remarkable moments in Baldwin's life and in the Crusades as a whole. Its legacy still resonates today as a symbol of resilience and perseverance. The story of Baldwin IV teaches us that a leader's true strength lies not only in health or the number of soldiers, but in the courage to face challenges with intelligence and determination. If you enjoyed this account of the Battle of Montgisard and the incredible story of Baldwin, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content on the history of the Crusades and the great figures of Christendom. See you next time.